You're listening to the Ask Drone U podcast. You ask, we answer your drone questions. Whether you're here to turn your passion into profit or you simply fly for fun, we're a community of learners and teachers who aspire to achieve greatness. We are
Drone U.
Good morning, everyone. How are you? Great. Me too. My name is Paul, and you're listening to another epic episode of Ask Drone U.
And my name is Rob. We do thank you for joining us for this episode number 618. Hope you're well. Thank you for spending a few minutes of your day with us. We really do appreciate it. I think we've got a show that's going to interest a lot of people. A lot of people out there trying to start their business and trying to get their name out there, so to speak. Get known, get seen by more people.
Definitely. If you like getting business, you like making money, well, you might want to listen into today's show talking about the ins and outs of advertising and marketing.
Yeah, and it's something that, Paul, you've kind of been working on pretty intimately for a while.
True.
So been digging into this stuff and going to share a little bit of your knowledge with our listeners. Thank you to Marianne for the question. Why don't we listen to it?
Hello, Paul and Rob. It's Marianne here from Alberta, Canada. I was hoping to get more information regarding advertising. I'm 59 years old, and I'm certainly not in the loop regarding the new way to advertise. I knew a little bit about Google advertising and a little bit about Facebook, but Paul has mentioned words that mean absolutely nothing to me, like pixel embeds, billings, tracking, and a few more that I can't remember. Would you be able to give a crash course on the new way to advertise and give me any idea of where to go to expand my knowledge? That would be great. I'd appreciate it a lot. And I just wanted to say thank you. I'm a new member, and I'm having a great time going through the new website. There is such an unbelievable amount of content, and it's great because on the days when it's too windy to fly, I can still work towards becoming a professional pilot. It's awesome. So thanks again, guys. Take care.
Thank you, Marianne. We always love hearing from our friends from the north, and love the accent. You know, we ask people to send in some fun accents.
I missed that one.
Well,
I missed the accent.
No, there's a little bit of, the oohs with the O's, and I love it. So
About.
Exactly, that kind of stuff. So love hearing from Marianne. I've actually talked to her on the phone before. Very, very nice lady.
Wow, well, that's good to know. I'm happy to know that she's loving all the content and she noticed how much there is. It makes me feel justified in all the work I've been doing.
Yeah, well, of course.
Makes me feel really good. Thank you so much. And I hope I can help you understand advertising and marketing. I hope I can help you with that. It has taken me a really long time to understand this as a whole. It really has.
There's been a lot of trial and error, actually. I mean, that's what a lot of this is testing.
I would say it's been 6 or 7 years of advertising on Facebook and 2 years of AdWords and 3 years of Amazon, CPC. And yeah, you're right. It has been a lot of money spent, a lot of figuring things out. And there are some hacks out there, that is for sure. Let me define. So we're going to be talking about advertising and marketing as far as online goes. A couple things that you should understand. Number one, there are two very different ways of advertising and marketing. Number one, you have Google AdWords. Amazon CPC is very similar, where you have someone who is an active buyer. Their interest is high. They are ready to buy. Why? Because they are actively searching for the thing that you offer.
Yep.
Okay, so all you're trying to do is attack those people. But in order to attack those people and have good AdWords and have good advertisements that work, the content on your website has to match the advertising. The relevancy is super important. If the content doesn't have the right keywords, if the content isn't original, it doesn't have good photos with metadata on the back end of those photos uploaded to the same site and then shared on Facebook and whatnot, your ad rank is going to be fairly low. What does that mean? Less conversions, higher cost per click, more money spent for less results.
Yeah, that's a really fascinating part of this whole deal is that the quality of your stuff as it relates to Google and AdWords reduces the amount that you have to pay.
Yeah.
Right? There's a direct correlation
Yes. And actually, Google has classes on this. I've taken one, and it's fascinating. To give you an example, if my title has keywords that I'm attacking, I will say attacking them on Google, and they're the same keywords that are in the title of my ad, and my ad content is relevant to the content that they're going to, that page, and that page has a video talking about my content, and it has reviews on there, my ad rank will go from, say, a 3 to a 7. What does that do? Well, if I'm paying $1, let's say I'm paying $2 per click with that particular ad. When my ad rank is at a 3, I may pay $2.50 or $2.75. But when my ad rank is at an 8 or a 9, I'm going to pay 95 cents to $1 per click.
Right. So half as much.
Yeah.
So it's significant.
It's very significant. Yes.
Yeah.
So remember, the keywords that you're trying to focus on are really important. And in order to find the right keywords, you have to think like your customer. How would your customer think to find your product? A great way to look at that is there's a web page called Answer the Public, and type in what you do and then figure out what questions people ask to find that content. Then I would take it another level further and then create content based off the questions that are asked to find said product.
You do have to screen, because some people throw in some really goofy questions. I feel like there's some people out there just trying to test how that works. And but that's easy to do. That's not a big deal. Just be aware of that.
Agreed, 100%. But also, that's why most people think you build ads, you let them run, and you're done. If you have someone like that working for you, or you hired a contractor doing that, fire them now, never look back, and light their pants on fire.
Okay, so that said, how often should you be? I mean, this is a daily thing, weekly thing?
I would say weekly.
Okay.
Because daily, you're not getting enough clicks and you're not getting enough data to really make a decision.
Make decisions, yeah.
When, and I'll go back to the other side of this equation, because remember I said there are 2 types of advertising and marketing online. We're just talking about one right now, which is Google Adwords. Going back to that, going back to advertising, my goal is to pay for 1,000 clicks. That's really what I want to do, is I want to get 1,000 clicks, because over, let's say, 2 campaigns, 4 ad groups, and 10 keywords per ad group. You have to know why these are different. Campaigns, you should have a different campaign for every product that you do. You should have a different ad group for each text or copy that you're trying to test. So let's say right now don't ask me why, I'm on a website called Forks Over Knives. Okay. Why not? People might actually be surprised to hear that.
I prefer to use them together, but if you want to put them in competition, that's fine.
All right, well, competition, here we go.
That's right.
So I searched something because I'm starting a new diet after I watched a documentary on Netflix that has really changed my mind. I'm starting a no-meat diet.
Otherwise known as a vegetarian.
That is correct. So I'm like, I Googled what happens to your body after you stop eating meat, because it's been like 3 or 4 days now. The last day or 2 have been really weird because everything I've been doing seems to be amplified. Like having the same cup of coffee seems to last 3 times longer. So, so I've been like worried, like what's going on with me? Well, anyway, my point in saying this is I've gone to this, I've gotten my question answered, and I ended up subscribing to their Facebook page because the content was so good. Okay. Now, why is that important? We'll talk about the other side of marketing in a second. We'll talk about pixel embedding. We'll talk about Facebook and warm leads and what pixel embedding is. And we'll also tell you why your phone is really watching what you're doing and why you see the ads that you do.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So going back to...
it seems like nowadays I could think about something and Google pops up an ad for me. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but it's not far from that.
Did you know that the FBI and the CIA can create a personality profile based off of top 5 pictures you have, the last 4 posts that you had, and how you write your about section?
That really makes me want to just go mess with all that stuff. And
that's why I do.
Yeah,
and
you kind of have to.
You got to be unpredictable. That's why Trump does what he does, okay? I don't like the guy, but he's smart. So.
Yeah. All right, anyways, sorry, get back.
All right, so going back to ad rank and all this. So if I go to Answer the Public, I find the questions that people are asking. I provide really good quality content to them. the best thing to do would be to create videos, because if you create videos, then you can put them on YouTube and you can use those as advertisements in Google Adwords. I have found that videos work 10 to 1 over photos. As far as conversions go.
Right.
Now, once you get your first 1,000 clicks, this is where the information gets fun, because your first 1,000 clicks, think of it as it's going to cost you some money and you're going to have to, suck it up. But hey, you're going to throw $2,000 at this probably to get 1,000 clicks. But once you get 1,000 clicks, you now have the data, and the data is going to help you make decisions, because now what you can do is say, okay, I got 10,000 impressions on this ad. 100 people clicked it. Of the 100 people that clicked it, 2 bought it. Does that sound like a good performing AdWord to you? Why?
It's too expensive for each customer.
And I didn't even talk about the cost per click.
Right.
So let's say we had 10,000 impressions, 100 people clicked the ad. What's our conversion from there?
You mean, what is that percentage? So that's 1%, right?
Okay. And of the 1%, how many people bought, right? We said, what did we say? Like 5 bought, or let's just say 5. Okay. 100
said
people.
2, but okay.
Okay. We'll go 2. 100 people went to the page and 2 bought. What's our,
and what did we pay for the advertising?
let's say $2.50 per click. So of
And we
those,
got 10,000 clicks?
no, we got
100
10,000
click.
impressions.
Oh, 200.
100 clicks, 2 buys. So
Okay.
your conversion rate would be like 0.05% or
Yeah.
0.02.
I mean, obviously you want that to be higher.
Correct.
But, I mean, it all depends on how you paint the scenario, because if that's a high dollar product, then that actually wasn't horrible, right? It depends.
It really does depend. And you brought up another great point. What is the price of the product? Also, the perception of the price of the product is even more important than the price of the product.
Well, and even if it is a higher priced product, well, then we got to start talking about funnels and getting them to the higher priced product with the lower priced product.
Yep.
But that's a whole nother
Let's not go down that
issue.
road. So, Google AdWords is really, really interesting in what they do. But okay, let's go back, right? 1,000 clicks, very low percentage. I don't want to get away from this because I want people to understand.
Well, I want to
how to
stay
interpret it.
consistent. We said 100 clicks, 10,000 impressions. Unless you want
2 buys, right? So
Yes.
10,000 impressions, 100 clicks to the ad, 2 buys, okay? First of all, 10,000 to 100, right? Our percentage again, Rob?
1%.
1%.
Wait, no, is that right? No, because 1,000,
10,000
100 would be 1%.
10,000.
1,000 is 10%, 100 is 1%. So yes.
So 1%. Okay.
Yes.
Right there. That shows you right there that keyword is very, very bad.
Yeah.
Why? Because your product isn't relevant. Because people search for that term and only 100 of 10,000 clicked. That means that those people don't think your product is relevant.
Yeah.
When that happens and you have a CPC over, let's say $1.50, you should probably move over to the Facebook advertising. I recommend running both at the same time because that's how you get the most conversions.
Well, because you're getting, and you'll get into this, but it's 2 different categories of customer.
Totally.
In terms of where they're at as a
Like
buyer.
what if people don't know about the problem itself and the solution that your product provides?
Right.
You've got to educate them. How do you do that? Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back. We got 1,000 clicks. Let's say we had another keyword, right? Vegetarian diet hacks, right? And we got only 4,000 impressions, but we got 250 clicks, okay? And then we had 15 buys from there, okay? So what does that tell you? Number 1, relevant, okay? Your product is relevant to that keyword. People think it's relevant, right?
Right.
Then they're still, not only are they checking it out, but now they're buying.
Sure. By the way, will you explain really, really quickly for people impression? I think everybody knows what a click is, but what is an impression?
Impression is essentially they saw your ad for 3 seconds.
It went across their screen.
2,
Right.
3.
Okay.
Here's the issue. Was the page loaded?
Yeah.
Do you have a slow internet connection?
Right.
This is the problem with Facebook's. See, Google's very, very smart about how they measure impressions. Facebook will totally screw with you, and you have to be really, really, really careful because Facebook, unless you click the advanced options, an impression could be 3 seconds or 10 seconds. And they don't say whether the page loads or not.
Is that a setting?
Yes. So I could sit here for 4 hours and explain how to advertise on Facebook to get your cost per click down to
new class coming
down to 4/1000th of a cent per impression.
Yeah.
Show me someone else who can do that.
No, but that's taking you a lot of time.
5 years, 6 years.
Work.
Money. Hundreds of thousands of dollars actually now. Yeah, if you take party trolley money spent on advertising, you take Drone U, you take Ride Media, all my other clients. Oh yeah, hundreds of thousands. So anyway, here's the beauty, right? If all this is intimidating you and you did the smart thing, you went in to Google Adwords, you set up an account, you made a campaign, you did the keywords, you did all that, you're feeling really good. Like I got a hold of this, but how come I'm not getting any buyers? This is when you call Google yourself to optimize your ads. Yeah, they'll do it for free. You literally call them and they will do what someone who charges $500 an hour will do. And what they're going to do is, okay, we'll see this 10,000 impressions, 100 clicks, 2 buys. That's not working for us. We're going to add that as a negative keyword. And then where were those people from? Where are people actually buying? So we can see where people are buying and what time of day they're buying. Then we hyper target our ads towards that time of day.
And so where do people go to get that information?
You just go to Google's website, Google AdWords Help, and call the phone number and ask to optimize my listing. Like that's it. Boom.
Okay. Short of calling them, where does one go to research keywords? What have you found to be the best place to do that?
Oh man, there are so many great tools now. Okay. So many great tools. I don't even know where to start. SpyFu is a great one, spyfu.com. AppSumo is really, really good. In fact, I think that may be one of the best ones. There's a couple other programs that are relatively new that are providing levels of data I have never seen before.
Okay.
And I don't even want to give it away because it's so freaking valuable.
Okay. But there are a lot of options out there that people can use to figure out the best keywords.
Yes. Let me put it to you this way. If someone, how do I explain this to you? Let's say that I want to find out every corporate level manager who's been looking or searching for hiring a drone consultant, a drone pilot, or building a drone team. Okay. I can find every single one who has searched that and based off their position and Facebook profile, who's a manager for corporate America, who's been searching for those things, and now I have their email. That's the level of data we're talking about.
Yeah.
And people think like you have privacy. You're an idiot. You don't have privacy.
I think we pretty much all know that by now.
No. I really don't think people understand it all. No, I really don't. Because people don't understand what can be done with your data. That's what people don't understand. For example, have you ever noticed why Apple's buying cycle is so consistent? Did you know in the privacy policy, they measure how often you do updates, they measure how often you download songs, they measure how often you download apps because they wait for the slowdown. And once the slowdown happens, that's when they launch the new product. DJI does the same thing. So does Android. So does Google.
They're using the data.
Exactly, to find out when you get bored, and when you get bored, they launch a new product.
They have the best data miners in the world working for them.
Like I said.
That's a whole new industry, by the way. If you're 14-year-olds looking for an industry to get in, data mining is a huge one.
Well, look at Colin Gwynn, right? Failed at DJI, failed at 3DR, now owns Measure. I love the guy. Like, he's a nice guy. I question some of what he does, but none of us are perfect.
Right.
So, but now he's at Measure, getting data, selling data. So
that's what Google is.
That's exactly right.
Billions and billions on selling data.
You would never know your audience to advertise to unless you could advertise it to some different audiences and find out what's the best. And that's why, guys, I hope that this conversation on data is making you think as a business owner, how should I make decisions? Should I make decisions on what feels good, on what may be intuition, or should I be making decisions based on data?
Yeah, that's a big question and a whole nother podcast.
How far down the rabbit hole do you want to go, Robert?
I know. So, all right. So AdWords, Google, giving a little bit of background to that and kind of how to go about that. Talk a little bit more about pixel embedding and how that plays into it. Because Marianne mentioned that specifically, and I know she said there's all these buzzwords and she threw that one out. So there's more in addition to, but talk a little bit about pixel embedding and what that does and how it's used.
The way that I explain pixel embedding to people who are a little older than me, That could be 2 years older than me. That could be 5 years younger than me, because a lot of the new social media marketers, and I've learned this the hard way, hiring a few of them, have no freaking clue what they're talking about.
Yeah.
None. If I go pixel embedding, the way I like to explain it is warm leads, right? You want to advertise to warm leads, right? People you know are interested, right? What does pixel embedding mean? Have you ever noticed you're at the mall on a Saturday and you pass by K Jewelers and you saw the new Polaris diamond, which I'm totally making up. It doesn't exist. You saw the new Polaris diamond. I honestly thought of Polaris because of the Polaris razor, the one that we're using for the subject tracking
I think
class.
of Polaris vehicles.
yeah, that's what I'm
Off-road
talking about.
vehicles.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, let's just change up the Zales. You're a dude. You just walked by the Polaris store. Okay?
There you go.
And you saw a razor and you're like, damn it. That looks like I could have fun in that thing.
Yeah.
So now you're like, how fast does the Polaris razor go? Right?
And you Google that on your phone.
Yep. And have you ever noticed that a couple days later, all of a sudden you start seeing ads for a Polaris razor?
A couple days or a couple minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fast now.
It's super fast. Have you ever noticed that you have said Polaris razor while a social media app is open?
Totally.
Noticed ads for it later?
I totally believe that's happening. So what it is, it's actually a relatively short piece of code, right?
So it's a short piece of code that's embedded in different websites. In fact, I have a little thing on my Google Chrome. It's called Facebook Pixel Helper, and it's a little plugin that helps me understand if I'm being followed or not.
Right.
And I'm on Forks and Knives. And do you think that it's pixel initiated?
Of course it is.
Oh, for sure it is. Oh, for sure it is. So now I'm being tracked. Okay.
Yeah.
How can you stop being tracked if a lot of people are wondering that? Very simple. Two things. Actually, if you really want to protect your data and you really value privacy and you actually want privacy, you have to do three things. Number one, download a VPN. Number two, use an incognito browser. And number three, delete your history and cookies, because that's what pixel embedding is cookies, frequently.
Right.
Like you can set your thing to delete it daily.
Yeah.
So anyway, that being said, it's really a cookie embed. So every time you go to a site, there are cookies that are embedded into your profile on your laptop, on your internet browser. And then now the company, Facebook, knows you've looked at this page.
Right.
Guess what? Now they can advertise to you because you're a warm lead.
Yeah, and it's actually very, very effective. Frankly, we use it.
Yep,
Right?
we
And
sure
so
do.
when somebody comes and clicks on something that we've done, or I don't know exactly how it works, but it does lead to people being more exposed to what we're trying to
And
do
more
and accomplish
engaged.
and more engaged, driving them to hopefully come learn more about us to our website.
True.
Right? So that's kind of what's going on there.
Very true. With Facebook, there are over 100 different ways to advertise on Facebook. Everything from sponsored posts to getting views and likes to your website. So just the other day, right? That other drone show, the other podcast startup by those guys that
Yes, carry on.
gentlemen.
Don't need to say it.
Anyway, I noticed they have 3 times the number of Facebook likes that we do.
Huh.
3 times. They have 30,000 Facebook likes.
Okay.
And they're way newer than we are. And I finally figured out why. They're paying for Facebook likes.
Oh.
Now, at first, I was like, I was mad, right? And then I was like, no, actually, I should be stoked because they are wasting money hand over fist. Because even if you have 30,000 Facebook subscribers, likes to your page, did you know you can only reach 4% of them if you post and it's not boosted?
Well,
and
it's
even
about
if
engagement.
Even if it is boosted, you're only hitting 8 to 10% of those people. So you're paying money to get people to like your page. And in all actuality, even though you're paying money to, let's say we get 100 likes to the page, every time you post, only 4 people are going to see it. So 96% of the money you spend online is wasted.
For Facebook,
Likes.
if you're paying for likes
For the
that
page.
specific
Correct.
cost, yeah.
Yeah, and now if you're paying for video impressions off a video that you uploaded on the backside that's pixel embedded, you're going to get a lot more conversions.
Right. And that's kind of the goal. That's the way that you want to set it up. So there's a lot of information here, and I know we're barely scratching the surface with this stuff. And so one of the things I really want to give Marianne and our listeners are a couple of ideas. And she asked this, where can I go learn more about this? Like, what are a couple of good places? And I know there's a lot,
There's just no succinct place.
So I put you on the spot.
I don't know. The culmination of my knowledge is from so many different sources. I don't know a single good person, to be honest, because there's the social media marketer, which is like the little animated explorer looking dude. And they put out some good content, but for a while that they were so far wrong, I was just like, yeah, no. There's a guy, Chris Record. He's really good.
What about just going to the sites themselves? There's actually a lot of good information within Facebook.
So that's what I hope people get out of this. Well, no, not on Facebook. Two things to know. If you learn from Facebook, if you learn from Google, it's going to be really good. But in the back of your mind, you have to understand that what they're teaching you is not going to be 100% correct for you optimizing your goals, meaning
because they're going to want to try to make more money off of you.
Exactly. So so for example, I even optimized some stuff with Google and then went back and changed it because I knew for a fact that if I change this one thing, it's not going to have the effect that they say that it's going to have. So, and I even tried it, let it go. You know, you got to be open to learn, and it didn't work. I changed it back and it had much more effectiveness. But for example, look at these. Look at these 4 videos right here. Cost per result. 0.0.002, 0.004, 0.04.
That's pretty cheap.
If anyone,
That's an understatement,
if anyone has cheaper than that for advertising cost per result or CPC, I want to see it.
Yeah.
And I want to know how you got it because it took me years to get the cost per click from dollars into cents into fractions of cents.
Yeah.
But it's just a formula. And I want people to know that. Like I can show you a screenshot of this so you can see I'm not full of crap. It's really just a formula. So, yeah, I don't really know what else to say. Some good ideas. Will you repeat your question again? Some good ideas.
Well, my question is how we can help Marianne go learn, because this is a 15, 20-minute podcast. She's going to need to go spend more time elsewhere digging into this information and into this subject. Where do we send her to do that? That's the question.
You know what? I've been getting some really good stuff, more so from podcasts than any paid area.
Yeah.
Let me pull up my podcast really quick and give her some ideas. So,
but you know, in a place like Social Media Examiner, who's been around for a long time.
Examiner, thank you. You know who I'm talking about.
I do know who you're talking about. Yeah, I know their animations and that look that they've had for a long, long time. I think they have maybe some really good surface level information that will give you ideas onto what to go look for.
True.
Into what to dig into deeper.
True.
So a place like that is a good place to start for that reason.
Yes. Let me pull up iBooks really quick. There's one particular book. Oh, look, everyone lies. Sorry.
Oops.
I listen to a lot of books, if you couldn't tell. Anyway.
On the road again.
Oh no. Screw you, Apple. It deleted the book. So, man, there was such a good book too. Dang it. All right, well, I don't know the name of the book anymore. It was a Google Adwords book, and it was about an hour and 45 minutes long, the audio version, and it was the most succinct explanation of Google Adwords I have ever heard. And I'm really disappointed that it's not in my iBooks anymore.
Do you know if it was a pretty recent release?
It was, but there are so many books on Google AdWords. That's why I know exactly how long it was because I was shocked at how short it was.
Could you find it again and we could put it in the show notes? Put you on the spot again.
Yeah.
We could try that.
I can totally try. Let's go back to podcasts for a second. Good podcast. He does not talk about social media all the time, but he has had the most poignant information when he does talk about it. That is the Smart Passive Income podcast.
Okay.
So, in fact, episode 267, he talks about an introduction into video advertising, which, by the way, right now, video is the best way to go. If you go any other way other than a blog post and you're not embedding the video into the blog post, you're doing it wrong. So, or at least you're not doing it the best way you could.
Sure.
Yeah, SPI had some really good ones because this guy hires people, and if they're successful, then he brings them on his show. I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Another good one, let's see, The Art of Paid Traffic. Google AdWords Secret Video Podcast. I have not listened to yet, but I've got it downloaded. Amazon Secrets with Matt Baidu. That's a joke. Actually, okay. this may sound stupid, but you can actually learn more about Google AdWords from this one show that's about Amazon than anywhere else. But understand that Amazon CPC and Google AdWords are very, very similar. So the terms are going to be the same. You have a lot more control with Google AdWords. But in
Amazon, you're driving traffic to Amazon via Google oftentimes, right? So they're going to work in sync that way. So that would make sense.
True. Okay, I'm trying to find this podcast. Okay, Jim Cockrum, the Silent Sales Machine Radio. I really like Jim for 2 reasons. He taught me everything I know about Amazon. It works unless your product has extremely heavy competition. But it works really, really well. The thing, again, that you have to understand about listening to his show is that he never goes into details. He'll give you great scratch-the-surface information. You'll know the strategy. You won't understand the strategy, but you'll know the strategy. So he'll scratch the surface. Just remember in the very beginning what he talks about and how he talks about it, and then research that, and you'd be surprised how much information you can garnish. Because for me, just like her question, there are terms I've never heard of. If you know the terms to search, you'd be fascinated what you can learn for free.
Yeah, like pixel embedding, she could go research that term and learn everything she needs to know to at least try it. Maybe not to optimize it and do it to the best you can. That comes through testing and experience and so forth. But
yeah,
you can go research these things.
I'm not sure that the research would be so clear. I just searched pixel embedding, and it's like tracking pixel, web beacon, affinity CNN, estimation of embedding capacity in pixel, like affinity CNN, object detection and segmentation from joint embedding of parts. And then like at the very bottom, Facebook Pixel Implementation Guide. So even Facebook's information is so far behind other people.
Yeah.
So I wonder if pixel embedding warm leads has ever been mentioned before. Because that's how I see it. Oh, look here, socialmargarita360.com. What are Facebook pixels and why should you care? There you go.
There you go.
I think this might have been the longest podcast we've ever done, Rob.
I don't know. I don't know about that, but it has been a long one. Anyways, Marianne, hopefully we've answered some questions, given you some food for thought, given you some strategies of where to go from here. As always, I always will say this, call in with clarification questions if other things pop in your mind when you're listening. We do appreciate your listening, and if you guys have a question, go to askdroneu.com, check it out, share the podcast if you would. We really appreciate that. That helps us, that helps the industry, and we love getting reviews. We listen to those, we read those, and we try to learn from them. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much as I'm sitting here setting up a new pixel. Oh, guys. All right. Thank you very much. My name is Paul.
My name is Rob.
This is Ask Drone U.